Alright. I could draw lines on this board. Yes, take, check, king over. So queen g5, pawn takes, knight to e7. It's throwing me off that these are on the opposite sides. Sup, Amel? And I think rook h1. Yeah. Take me a while to get used to the backwards board, I think. Queen h7. King's forced to take. H5. Knight e7. Queen h4. I'm not sure how much harder these puzzles can get if they're all themed like this. So we'll find out. Queen h7, rook over. This can't go here. I have to bring the knight up. So we can't come here because the rook blocks the file. So I guess I either check or push him over. I don't know if one's better than the other. It's forced to one of those. So e7 is better because if he goes there, he can escape when the rook comes over. Rook up. It's not check, doesn't count. So check, we got queen checks. Now that can't be taken. I guess it can. Not an absolute pin. Though it leads to checkmate, so queen there if takes. Check, king up, check. Mate, so that doesn't work for him. I guess it's not check anyway, so he doesn't do anything. That is mate. It's weird, I'm not seeing this one. I don't think you can see my Spotify, but get rid of that song real quick. So we can check there. That's not a check. That's not a check. He has mate in 1. So whatever I do has to be check. So check, queen up, king has to take, check. Not a fan of this playlist thus far. So check, king takes. If I go there, it's not protected anymore. I don't see how that really benefits me. The queen check is the only thing I've got at the moment, so it's either here, here, or here. Here. Take that, he takes. Check. King over, check. Then he can come up and threaten that when the rook comes over, so that doesn't work either. So the whole point of this mate is that you're checking with a knight, so you really can't afford for it to be taken. Take. No, that doesn't work either. It's not a check. I really didn't think I'd come across one that I couldn't see. If we take that. Take, king has to take, check. Can't be taken because it's pinned. I think that's it. So queen, f8, king takes, knight hops, can't take with the pawn because it's pinned to the pawn's pinned to the king by the rook, and then this rook slides up. Queen can't interpose anywhere. King can't escape back to that square because knight is covering. And that's mate. What's up, Dusty? Okay. What's up, Odin? Thank you. Distracted me. I'm blaming you for that one. So why is that bad? Because the bishop takes, obviously. So other checks we have that one, and that one. Takes. King there. Rook down. Yeah. So I think whenever I fail one, they put it aside and then I can just do it again later. Check, king over. I think this is an easy one. So knight e2. King has to move because nothing can take. Rook sack on h2. King takes. These two squares are covered by the knight, and then this rook comes down. I'm trying to learn to name all the squares as well. Oh, well, he does have a back rank, so I have to either take the queen or check every move. Can't go anywhere. Check, king takes. I think the queen just back to h3. Interpose with the queen, but then we just take. It's got rooks on the 7th. Check to pull that off. Don't know if that's helpful. Check, king goes up. I guess check will push him to there. So you can't touch these squares. Check, king h4. This rook can't come down. What's up, Nova? It is indeed a weird roguelike. I guess I have this check too. I think that's it. So check to b, rook to b5 check, king goes h4, this rook slides down. Blocks, doesn't do anything though. So I don't know if my rating gets up to like 2500 if I won't be able to solve these anymore, or if there really is a limit to how hard Anastasia's mate can be. Really no. So knight to f7, check, king across. This is the same pattern we've seen. You can step in. So takes. King has to take. In across is fine. So it can't be there and it can't be there is the only thing. Queen or block. Doesn't matter. So check. Assume I'm white, yep. You can take. This knight is a bit far away. I guess going there covers these two squares. Obviously can't go up. I don't know if you can see right-click windows, can you? No, you can't. So I just look like an idiot whenever that happens. Good. This is a weird one. No, it's not. I have the video feed on the other screen I can look at. So the only check is this. He's on a dark square, so the bishop's useless. The knight is too far away. Obviously this move has to happen at some point. I don't know if that's first. If pawn check, the king will just take. But if the king takes, I can bring the knight over, which guards the rook now. So check king there. Knight to e6. King can't be here. This king has to go back. That means the king can go there or there. If he goes there, that's mate. If he goes there, I don't know how to force mate on him. I don't really see another option. The knight can't go anywhere else to do this. RTS at this speed, maybe. If you watch the GMs play Bullet, it's more like an FPS. Crazy. I don't see another way I can instigate here. This is the only move. King takes, checked. Can't go here, can't be there. Go back, it's mate, so he's obviously going to go here. If he goes there, and check with the bishop, that'll force him up. So g5, knight e6, goes back. So we've got bishop f3. He has to go to h6, and then go over h4. Definitely getting harder. Threatening my knight. Phone's buzzing. Check on h7. King has to take. Rook over is met with what? Blocks with the knight, which we take, and he can't interpose again. It's a baby one. So we got checks galore. In pretty big danger from him, so everything I do has to be a check, obviously. That would be mate, but that. So if we just go back, queen interposes, we take, and that's it. Okay. That one seemed a little easy. I also don't know if this rating is comparable to chess.com, because I've heard Lichess is a lot higher. Knight to e2. King h1. What's up, John? Yeah, a long time. Had a weird few years, that's for sure. Check, queen takes. King has to take, rook down. h7 is check. Mate. Yeah, COVID didn't help. So check, king doesn't have to take is the thing. So the king can run here. So check, king takes, checkmate. He interposes and we take. But check, king there. Check, king can still escape. I can't really threaten him again because everything will be hanging. I know, the rook can go there. Which I think will force him into that square. And then this rook can... So rook h6. King can't take. We did take. Which means it's the simple answer. I guess it was forced either way, so we didn't really have a chance. Alright, John. Good luck with uni. Thanks for popping in. I feel like I've seen this position before. Is this not one I did today? It is, yeah. So queen take. So I think there's 17 or 1800. Yeah, 17 or 1800 puzzles with this theme. So kind of weird to get a repeat 15 puzzles in. So queen f8, king takes. Knight over. So is that knight to e6? Can't take because he's pinned. Alright, I got this one wrong, which is why it's showing me it again. What's up, Ellie? So rook d8. King there. So I felt like... I did this last time. And that was wrong because the bishop takes. So I think it's still d8. I haven't played 5D, but I've watched it. I've watched Hikari Nakamura play it, one of the best blitz players in the world. And I think it was kind of interesting watching him learn, but I don't think it would be very fun to learn yourself. It's pretty gimmicky. So I think d8. King there. Then it's rook f7. King goes h6. This one h8, mate. So notice... Desk's falling apart on me. I'm gonna have to fix that real quick. Back in a sec. Got a standing desk, goes up and down. It's got like a big control nodule on the bottom there that I've yet to buy proper sized washers for, so it just slips out of the nuts every now and then. Or the screws, sorry. Oh yeah, but I guess because I've done this, it doesn't give me rating, which is fine. I feel like we've seen this one too. Rook takes h6. King takes. No other option. Then rook there. h8 is mate. Can't interpose. e2. h1. Sack there. I feel like it's kind of hard to read out all the coordinates on puzzles, because I'm so much slower at doing that than just doing the puzzle. So queen takes h2, king takes, rook h8, queen blocks, we take. Takes, king takes, cross, queen blocks, and then we just take. Probably blast through 100 of these pretty quick. Really have much of an idea of how long it would take. Yes and no. They are useful for that, keeping track in official matches, but so I've learnt a bunch of openings just by the moves themselves. If someone would read those coordinates to me, I wouldn't be able to replicate it. But instead of trying to memorize the whole position on the board, instead you can just remember 3 or 4 coordinates that would lead to that position. It's way easier to do it like that. And you'll sort of correlate meaning between squares and accessibility to and from pieces. So at the start of a game, your knights always start on F and yeah, that's bishops. So it's B and G1 here. So the most natural squares are always F and C3, and that just becomes kind of muscle memory. And you're sort of always aware of where they can move from there without actually having to do it. It's just like a shortcut in your brain. I also imagine it makes it much more interesting when you're listening to commentary instead of just saying this knight goes here and this rook goes there. Queen sack, rook down. But the biggest problem I have with chess at the moment is trouble with visualization. And I think a big part of solving that will be, well, obviously focusing on visualization by memorizing coordinates, colors of squares, common moves for pieces and stuff. Yeah, that is true. H2. H5. But you see, like, the people that are really fluent in it, and they can just rattle off a whole game without even thinking about it. Or if they're doing commentary, you know, they don't have to look at these coordinates. They just know every square by name. And I do think that's very important to improving. Maybe I'm not very good at explaining why, but I don't know if practicing it on puzzles is the best way to go. I had a veterans, yeah. I had a, I don't know what you call it. I mean, I guess it was a lesson. I hooked up with a chess coach, and he gave me sort of an analysis of my weak points, things to focus on and stuff. And his advice for learning to visualize better is to do blindfolded drills, which You know, say if we just took all the pieces off the board and we said there's this knight on e7 here, what's the quickest way to get it to c2? And then in your head you have to draw these arrows. You have to work out which squares it can and can't go to get there. So it may be a much like longer path. Might have to jump around all over the place, but being able to pick those squares out in your brain sort of leads to visualizing the board better. So it may be that I should learn mates like this and do the blindfold training separately. Sure. Today's a bit of a learning experience, I guess. But my other weakness was recognizing common mating patterns. So the reason I'm doing this today, this is called Anastasia's mate, where you use a knight and either a queen or a rook to pin the king to the side of the board. So I'm memorizing that. To 100 puzzles, so hopefully there's some kind of retention. And then tomorrow, or next time I'm in the mood, I'll try and do another one. Assuming today goes well. H7. You can see I'm using pretty much the same coordinates all the time, because when the king castles, he's always on G8 or B8. So you'll sort of make these little correlations in your head when he does that, that certain pieces can attack those squares, regardless of whether pieces are there or not. Black to move. This is a weird one. So we've got check, king is forced to H2. Knight there doesn't work. Because if rook, king can just take. Ah, this is defending, so we just knight to E2, check. King can't go here because the rook blocks. I guess king can go there. Doesn't really make a difference because when rook slides across, it's protected. I made that harder than it had to be. Guess there's not very many variations for this. No points for that makes me wonder if... Maybe if you solve the same puzzle a few times, it doesn't give you rating. Yeah, I kind of assumed that we would get games where instead of just 3 moves, you might have to do 4 or 5 to reach that mate. Doesn't seem to be the case as yet. Check, check. Queen there. One takes, king pushes it out, rook comes over. Check. Discovered attack on that pawn. Rook down. Check. King can't come here because the queen is covering. So king back. Queen sack. King takes. Rook down. So I think this is just rook. And then queen here. There's bishop guards there, queen guards there. Check. 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 Oh. Check. What's up, Blue? Welcome. Certainly has been a while. Check, king can't go here. Any king move there. It's just met with that. Baby one. Rook sack this time. And then queen back. H1 because queen covers here. Yeah. Interposes twice, but it doesn't help. Free piece with check. Seems safe. So that's 40. Tax that, but it doesn't matter. Can't do anything about that. Can't do that, obviously. So check, queen across. H4. Just take. Yeah. You always got to prove yourself wrong is the main thing. Work out what you think is the answer. See how they can counteract it. For these puzzles, it's a lot easier because there's really only one solution. But if you're playing a game, there might be 3 or 4 lines you have to calculate. So obviously this doesn't work because rook takes. That's fine. H4. Okay, this is a different one. Check, king there. Check, king has to go there, king can't take. That check would just result in him taking the pawn. There's no other knight checks. That just hangs a knight. It's weird because there's no immediate rook check afterwards. So check king there. And then I can come up threatening that. So this is where I run into a lot of trouble with puzzles. If you... Obviously this rook lift would work. But it may or may not be the most forcing move. And puzzles often get pretty touchy about whether or not it's forcing. So if you go there and it's not forcing, how can he respond to counteract it? Doesn't really look like he has anything because he needs 2 moves to back rank. This knight can't reach the rook. I guess bishop there. Rip. Yeah, I guess. Didn't know they changed the PogChamp emote. Yeah, I said I'd never do face reveal, but the last year or two I've sort of stopped caring about some things. So check king up, and then just threaten mate in 1. Bishop will come down. Check, bishop blocks, and we take. No, that was wrong. Okay. You haven't been on Twitch in a long time. Are you saying all Australians look like me? I have a very stereotypical face? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I guess I could just threaten it now. Okay. Oop. Mouse slip. So it was the right idea, I just didn't need to do the first check. And that's what I mean about forcing moves. The check is forcing because he absolutely has to respond to it. But the check doesn't necessarily add anything. I guess, in fact, it takes away from it now that I look at it. So if I do that, I don't know if I can move after the fact, no. But if I do check and he comes up, and I threaten this, bishop down, but when I come across with the rook, he can actually escape to there. So that was clearly wrong, now that I think about it a bit more. I don't know if I write that down as a completion or not. Look at the dashboard. Yeah, so it doesn't, I don't think that counts. So I did 50 off stream just to get my rating up, so I wasn't doing baby stuff. And we'll just keep going. Well, all these Aussies got beards. Yeah. I've only got one because if I shave, I've got a real baby face. I'm not into that. So this is just a queen sack, h7. So this is all covered. So again, I can threaten mate in one. So the order you have to think is checks. Do you have any checks? The answer is yes. But if I do that, we run into the same problem I just had. So you got checks, you got captures, you got attacks. But if we're doing a mating pattern, capture is a lot less important. True. Is my Discord still active? Not really. Its purpose kind of died off when I stopped playing Warframe. So I think we just threaten here. Interposes, but it doesn't matter. There's probably like 20 people that still use it kind of intermittently. And then the staff chat is still pretty active. We still talk to each other a lot. But there's not really much reason for, people that subscribe to me to talk anymore. It's dying, yeah. I'd say it's a lot closer to being dead than just dying. So it's just a rook sack. Queen there. There's bishop guards here, queen guards there. Get rid of that song. But yeah, Discord server can't really survive without purpose. I don't know if I'll be streaming a lot or not, but I imagine if I do, it'll come back to some degree. So we got check. King can't go there, so if check, has to go there or there. If check, he can go there, so it's probably not knight check. So check, king to either of those can be checked again. Yeah, well, he's not a sentimental one. Not much reason for him to stay. So check if king there, check. King can't be here. So he's forced to there, and then rook will be mate. Check, king there, check again. Can't be here, can't be there, can't come back. If he goes to either of those, rook here is mate. Ooh. There is mate. If he goes there, then rook here is mate. I don't think he can prevent any of that. Yep. Check gets taken. It's a weird one. I do know her, yeah. I have no idea why she's irritated with that. I don't think she's irritated with it. I think she started it, and everyone else is irritated with her for it. I think that's how that went. No, you won't hear music. I can, though. I don't really care to deal with Twitch's DMCA and YouTube's whatever they do, blocking shit in countries and stuff. Just bring your own music. So that's a fork. Doesn't help because king can come up. Obviously taking that is just a trade, but what's the point? Check there. Check again. I think that's probably what it is. So check, pawn has to take because knight is guarding. Check, pawn takes again. The check, king goes to there. Rook comes down to check. He can't escape to here because king can't be within touching distance. I don't see how else that could go. Takes with the bishop. It's irrelevant though. Check, check, check. Can't prevent it. Same one. I thought I got over 2200 here, and I failed one, and it took 21 points off me. I guess because it's such a simple ideal. Shouldn't really be doing that. So check. Ah, knight takes. So check, knight takes, check, king up, check. Can't escape to here, can't do anything else. It's 50. Yeah. Pretty rough. I only made this account today or yesterday. So I don't really know how the site works. I usually do everything on chess.com. So check takes, check. It's not pinned. Yeah. It's always satisfying winning with a queen sack. Can't go there. Only got 2 checks. I'm curious if this is going to come into play. So this is not very controlling. So a check is a forcing move, but it's not controlling. It prevents the king being on these 2 squares, but he still has 4 moves, which is not ideal. So this check, so it gives him 3. And these 2 threaten the rook, which is not great. I guess I could then push him around with the bishop. So if check, what would he do? What's the best move? I'm starting to think the knight move is first. So I can't threaten mate in 1 here. So there's no threat. So it has to be a check leading to. So knight there. Not really anything I can do if he goes there. Huh. Got doubled rooks here too, so that's not good. Can't really threaten anything because that'll lead to... I guess not immediately. There's mate in 2 if this isn't here. They're both defending, never mind. Check. He can't take the knight, but I can't check him again. If he goes there, we have that check. If he goes there, we have that one. So I don't think he'd go to the dark squares. If he goes there, that check hits him and guards the rook. If there, I have check guarded by the bishop, which would push him back. So the hypothesis, the working hypothesis at the moment, is rook and then knight, assuming he goes there. Because going anywhere else, anything on the dark squares activates my bishop, so that's not really good for him. I don't see past these 2 moves. And everything has to be a check from this point because that'll be mate without the rook on the back rank. So he does come up. If I go there, can't be here, or there. Yeah, so then if he goes there, we check him, which pushes him over. And if he just goes there, then that's mate. Goes onto the dark. So that's what I mean. One of my weaknesses being visualization beyond, 2 or 3 moves. So really what I should be doing is finding the whole checkmate sequence before moving a single piece. Sometimes I feel like I have to make the move to sort of clarify the position. Which is not really what you want. Check. Check. And if check, he has 3 options. $2,200. I get 1 wrong and it cuts out 20 points. You're off. So if check, can't go there because that's mate. So check, if he goes there, that's checkmate, so he won't do that. So we can assume that the computer will go elsewhere. He can't go here and he can't be there, so he has these 2 options, alright? So if check and he goes there, then what? Check is mate. So check if he goes there, check is mate anyway. He goes the easier route. Okay. But that's what I mean. You have to calculate all the lines to prove yourself wrong. So in that case, we had 3 forced checkmates. But if you have 3 lines, 2 of them forced, 1 of them not, then they're going to do the one that's not, and you fail. Okay. Check, king down, check, takes mate. Can't do anything about it. Check. So that opens up this rook. So if check, he can't come back. Can't go there, so he can go here or here. So check, if there, that's mate. If there, it's not quite mate because that'll take. So check there, mate. Check. Sorry, there, not there. So check, he goes there. I could decoy him with the pawn there. So check would pull him to there, or takes, in which case the rooks can mate. So that was mate, right? Yeah. No, he can go back. This has to be... Well, I guess it doesn't. What about this check? Can't go there. Can't be there. Can't go there. Can't block with anything. Can't go there because of the rook, actually. So if he goes there... Check. Can still come up. And if I check him again, he can just take the rook. This one can't come down because the pawns defend. I'll need 2 moves to cut that one down. Everything has to be a check, I think, because he has a pretty nasty position on me. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the marking system on this site. On chess.com, it just turns the whole square red. If you do this, it actually draws like the L shape. I feel like it helps me visualize not just having kind of skewed weird angles everywhere. Check, can't be here, can't go there, can't go there. If king there. So I guess I don't have to bring the rook first if he goes there. But after that, takes, rook comes across, check, he can come back to here. And then I don't have a follow-up. Because the knight can't go anywhere else, this rook is out of the action. So I feel like that doesn't really work very well. So check with the knight there. Can't go anywhere here. You can still go there though. So if he goes there, check. We can't go back in this case, so we would have to take. So king would take. Rook would come across with check. King's there. King can still go here. Oh, damn it. There's a knight in the other direction. We only lost 5 for that one. So how does that follow? This is the only following check, right? So check, he takes. He can go there as well. It's weird because if he goes there, he's completely safe from these rooks for at least 2 turns. I can't hit him with a rook immediately because he just takes. What if check takes? Well, that won't be a check when I take back, thinking I could bring this rook down. Yeah, interesting. I don't know if I can just skip it and come back to it. Because I'm gonna go back and do all the ones I fail. Yeah, practicing it. I'm not very competent with the basic checkmate patterns, so I'm trying to get some kind of muscle memory going on. Yep. Oh wow, I can actually go way back. I didn't realize I could go back through the whole game. That's interesting. I know you posted a solution, but I don't want to look at it because I don't want to spoil myself. Is this just moves? Yeah. See, I don't want to view the solution, but I want to go to the next puzzle. Jump to next puzzle immediately? Is this if I fail, is it? I guess we're just gonna have to view it because I don't know how to skip past it. What? Oh, there was a rook sack here. Knight back, then rook across. That was a good one. I'm not going to mark that. It's good to see that there are Anastasias that I can't just solve immediately. Gives me hope they'll keep getting harder. I feel like I've seen this one before, but I don't remember it. So F2. I think it's knight across, isn't it? Right there. King only has these 3 squares. That is mate. And they're all mate. That's a baby one. White. Queen takes, we take again. Did he do? Queen up. Has to be rook because knight guards the square. So we take, he blocks up there. Okay, so now we take and then the queen comes down. Check takes, check. I must say it's not very satisfying getting 1 point. Exactly the same, but he blocks with the queen. Same again. Maybe it's completely random as to what difficulty each will be. Maybe I'm just getting between a range and it's not actually giving me harder and harder variants each time. Let's check takes. Queen there. It's queen guards. Queen sack. In the world is this? I mean, 2 points is twice as good, right? Still not very satisfying. On chess.com, when you're doing random puzzles, probably here as well, I guess. When you're doing random, you get high rated ones more often. So you usually get 5 minimum, and if you do it quickly, you can get up to like 10 or 12. Obviously, doing puzzles that are all the same. I don't know the word. What's the word? All the same concept, I guess. Obviously makes it a lot easier. 2200 puzzle when it's random is much harder. The queen can't take, so that's fine. Check there, queen sack, rook over. Can't do anything about it. Interposes, but that's irrelevant. You can see the rating after you solve the puzzle. What does that show up? Up here, 1659. Yep. So I knew that on the other site. It's good to know it's here as well. So 1650 when we're doing 2200. Yeah, so it's hidden at the moment. So check, check. Queen is blocked by the pawn, so we're fine. I actually had this... I had an opportunity to do basically this exact mate on the vertical instead of the horizontal in a game once, and I didn't see it until I was in analysis. Queen up, rook up, queen sack it, or rook across, I think, and then rook up. Maybe it was a rook sack with the queen across, I don't remember. No, because it was a queen sack. Anyway, I missed it, and I was very upset because queen sack victories are the most satisfying by far. So yeah, 1800. I think this is just check, check. Poses, but it's irrelevant. Check, 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 check. So we got 4. I guess that as well, but he just takes. So if this check, then what? He has to go there? Is that not just mate in 2? Can't go anywhere here, can't take that. And I guess he can go there, but it's irrelevant because this covers that square anyway. So he goes there or there, and then this is mate. Defended by the pawn. Can't get in the way with any of his pieces. Yep. Check. King has to go to the A file. I think it's directly boosted if you beat a very high rated puzzle. Just skip dozens of points. Well, yeah, when I started, so I did those first 50 puzzles offline to just crank my rating up a bit. And I was getting like 200 points for the first few. And then sort of, I think by the end of it, I was getting maybe 100. Maybe not that much, but it definitely started at like 200. So if I did a puzzle that was 3000 rated, I would get, 10, 20 points, whatever. So check. King has to go there. He can't do anything else. Doesn't really help me too much, though, does it? So if check, he goes there. I have no way to hit the back rank. I have this. Queen takes. This check, he takes there. See, if he takes the knight, it's not really an Anastasia's mate, is it? Because I could probably do something with the rook and the queen here. So that's probably not it. If I take there, queen just takes. Because after I take back, he's just up a knight. So it probably has to be that. I don't see how this could work. Because if I take, queen takes, then there's no follow-up check with the knight that the queen just can't remove. So that doesn't make sense. If check, king can't go here because of the rook. So if we assume he goes there, then what? Ah, I have this. I don't know why I didn't see that. I was just thinking of the diagonal with the queen there. So check, king there or there. Doesn't matter because these are covered by the knight. This comes down here, we block with the queen, and we just take. I don't think there's any other way he can do anything. Yeah. Weird how it's such a simple puzzle, but it's so easy to overthink. Check, king there, mate. Can't do anything about it. So I always wonder in a position like this, if I'm doing puzzles that aren't concept specific, I have 2 options here, right? I can check there and check there, both being mate. But there's only one right answer, at least on chess.com. I don't know if you could get away with either here. But, I might solve 3, 4, 5 moves to get through a position, and then I'm left with a decision like this, where looking at the position, there's nothing obvious. But one square is superior to the other for one reason or another. I don't think it matters in this situation. Get away with it, yeah. So I wonder if it's just programmed into the puzzle that either of these options is fine. So I feel like this is the more solid move. This is what you would do normally, just because it guards, even though the knight's guarding here. It makes more sense, whereas this sort of doesn't protect that square. I'm just going to do that and see if it's still acceptable. Because it's mate anyway, so we can't do anything, right? So it just accepts it. If I did that, I don't know, it's not really telling me anything on the side. So either win. Just wasn't sure if it would let me get away with it. And open it in a new tab to do analysis, you mean? I know both are mate. I was just curious if the puzzle engine would allow it or not. So check. King there. Well, he's threatening mate in 1, so everything... Queen there is mate in 1, so everything has to be a check. So we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I should have done that. I mean, it's not too... It does allow it. I'll just take you at your word. It's not too important. So check king there. How do I follow that up? So check king there. Check again. King comes back. Check. King can push to there, which is not good. Threatening the knight. So this will be discovered on the queen. Although that matters, because it's mate anyway. So if check, then what? King still has to go there? Queen guards here. I guess it can go to either of these. So check. If king there, that's mate. So if we assume king there, then we do check. He goes up, and then we mate. Can't prevent any of that happening. They almost fucked up. So there is obviously guarded. There is not. Yeah. On pen, don't fail me now. Not there, but there. The bishop would take. White to move, queen sack, rook down. Can't do anything about it. It's interesting because I haven't really... Like, I've gone through and done all the lessons on chess.com, but I've done them. I haven't memorized them, you know? And then when I did my sort of trial lesson with the coach yesterday, he had me do a few of these, like, very basic mating patterns, and I was struggling with a few of these Anastasias. I think we also did... We did another one, I don't remember the name at the moment. So it's kind of crazy how quickly I can pick up on it now relative to yesterday. Because the ones we were looking at were not complicated by any means. So check, he can't take because rook guards, so here or here is mate with the rook. Yep. So I'm curious if because I want to do this for all the mates. So if I do 100 puzzles for each one, and then I come back to this, will I still see it or not? Easier top down than from the side. Or the session I did was online, so it's still with a board exactly like this. Skip that song. I don't remember if I wrote that down. Check, block, take. It's really weird when you see a puzzle that looks so easy. You immediately second guess yourself. This is just take and rook down. Check. Rook. King takes, rook over, bishop, take. exactly the same one, I believe. I'm curious when I start playing again if it'll be equally visible in those situations. Maybe when I'm just doing random puzzles, if one of these comes up, it'll be as obvious. This is just that. Queen blocks, and then we take. He's threatening the knight, but it's irrelevant. Just making sure that bishop wasn't lined up. Not there, but there. Get out of it. It was a bit sad to find that you couldn't do focused puzzles like this on chess.com, so it was really nice that I found this website. It's so easy. I think I still prefer the other one, but for puzzles, specific puzzle training, this is obviously better. So check, king can't come up, so he has to go back. If he goes there, rook there's mate. If he goes back, rook there is mate. It's very natural for me not to be reading coordinates. I just don't think in them. I think maybe I won't do it while I'm doing this. I'll find a really specific way to focus on that instead. Because I think having the repetition is probably more important at the moment. When my goal is just to learn the pattern itself. I don't think the coordinates here are too relevant. So yeah, I think I'll separate it. Do isolation training. How many have I done? Let's have a look. So I started with 50, so I want to get this to 150. I want to get this back up to 100 as well. So let's do these. So these are the two that I failed on. King's over there. So he can't go here, he can't be there. This is the one where I did this, which allowed him to escape when I threatened the rook lift. So here, the reason I did that was because that's a forcing move, but in this case, it's not good for us. When in reality, it's just a threat because he can't threaten us or prevent this attack. So, yeah, I don't know if I write that down or not. I don't know if that was counted. I guess I wouldn't have written it down before, because I failed. So this one, white to move. King can't be here anywhere. I do remember this, actually. So that was check here, he comes here. Was it check back? I don't think so. I think we do go back, but I think maybe we do something first. So check, king goes there. Because he can't go there, can't be there, he can't go there. So these are his two options. If he goes there, rook across, forces him back there anyway, I guess. But I think he goes there. So check there. Then was it rook takes? I feel like there was a rook sack involved. Because we want this square to be blocked. So check, king comes here. Check, king across. Check, pawn takes. Knight goes back to hit him with check, which means he can't be here. Can't be there because the rook can't go there. I don't really see how it follows along still. So check is followed by that. So he takes. This is now check. Can't go there, he can't go there, can't be there. Alright, so he's forced onto the H file and the rook across his mate. Can't go there because the rook's covering at the moment. And he can't go there because knight covers. So I've got to do 14 more. Which means I haven't been writing them down super accurately. Theme. Puzzle theme is the word I was thinking of. There, you can see you can split them up like this. I want to focus on a lot of these different things. But for now, we'll do Anastasia's and then Arabian. These are the two I've been introduced to. So Anastasia's, the knight and a rook or queen team up to trap the opposite king between the side of the board and a friendly piece. And then Arabian's is a knight and a rook to trap on the corner. So on the side versus on the corner. I can visualize a few of those that we did. Check across. So I have to do 4 without writing it down, and then I have to do 10 more. So we can't prevent this. That's 1. Check, king across, queen sack, king takes, rook over. Can't prevent it. 2. Check forces him over. And just check. Can't prevent that. I want to do that one first because he just takes, and then this is a block, which gives him time for counterplay. I think I do 1 more without writing it down. Check, king takes, rook over. So now we write him down again. He goes back. Check. There, rook over. Yeah, can't prevent that. So I have no rook backup in this situation. But I guess I don't need it, we just go there. We go there. It's queen guards. Almost blundered that. Oh, check, rook over. Can't prevent it. Same, I think. Was that not the same puzzle? Completely identical? Rook, queen, knight, queen, rook. There's no counterplay. Very simple one. Black to move. So this is preventing that. We just have queen there. So queen, he blocks, we take, we come down. This is just a rook sack and then back because the queen guard's there. Oh. So we can't come forward because the pawn's guard. So this check forces him back onto that rank. Yeah, so let's just check. Even if he goes there, this is covered, and then rook down is mate on the rank. Yeah, no counterplay to that. Always got to prove yourself wrong there. Takes. So was that the last one? No, one more. Apparently I can't count. One more. Check, guards the rook. Forces him back there and then rook down. Can't go there because rook guards. Nothing can take me, so... That's 100 of them. Took an hour and 20 minutes, so I could probably do 100 of Arabians today. I think I probably will. Feeling pretty good. Themes. I'm going to start and stop the stream again though, so I can change the title and have it auto-split when I upload it. So yeah, we do Arabian Mates. I don't know if I really need to do this or not. It's crazy to me that there are 2,000 of these. There's only 700 Dovetail and even less Bodens, but there's 64,000 back rank. I guess because a lot of these puzzles are pulled from games, and back rank is very common, especially for beginners. I guess it makes sense. Interesting that Smothered Mate has more than these, though. Alright. Evo, hey. Alright, I'm going to end stream, and then I'm going to change the title, and I'll fire it up again, so I'll be back in a minute.